Here's something else I can do with my layers. I'm going to grab my statue here, and you'll notice across the top of the layers palette here, I have some locking options. Let me show you how this works. So right now I don't have anything locked here. And let's see here. I'm actually going to grab my statue and my white stripes. I'm just going to pull this out just a little bit so we can see a little bit more of the statue. There we go. All right, so the statue layer is selected. I'm going to grab my paintbrush tool over inside the toolbox here. And using the brushes pop down here, I'm going to create a nice big brush here, a super huge brush, as a matter of fact, 1800 pixels, and I'll set my hardness here to 50%. That looks great. And the other thing that I'll do is I'll set the opacity here on the options bar. I'll drop that down to 50%. Okay, great, good stuff. Now, what happens here is nothing is locked, as I just mentioned, on this statue layer. So if I start painting, the whole layer gets painted, the whole 9 yards, the background, the statue itself, the whole bit. So I'm going to undo that. So with nothing locked, the entire layer is going to get painted here. What I'm going to do inside the layers panel, though, is with the statue layer selected there, I'm going to click on Lock Transparent Pixels. What that means is any transparent areas inside this image. Let me show you this here. I'll option click on the eyeball there for the statue layer. Anything that's filled with the checkerboard will not get painted. Let me show you what I mean by this. I'll click and drag inside my statue here. Something like this. Maybe I want to create some dramatic lighting here. I'll turn on all my other layers there, and notice that the painting got isolated to just the statue itself, and the other areas inside the layer remain unaffected. So that's what Lock Transparent Pixels is going to do for you. You also got Lock Image Pixels if you like. I could lock the movement of this layer so I can't move it around, or my personal favorite, I can just say, you know what, lock everything, and you'll see the black padlock show up there on the layer. Okay, now, here's the last thing I want to show you in our introduction to layers inside Photoshop. I'm going to unlock my statue layer here. I could take a couple of layers inside the layers palette here, and I could actually merge them together or flatten them together, if that makes sense. So I'm going to use my Command key here, and I'm going to click on my white stripe layer. You could Control click it if you're on the Windows side. I'll go up to the Layers palette menu here up at the top, and you'll see a command there, Merge Layers. In other words, merge the selected layers into one single layer. And there's your keyboard shortcut right there, Command E or Control E on the Windows side, which is usually what I wind up doing. I also have Merge Visible. That's something else you could use. In other words, what that guy would do is he would merge all the visible layers together into one single layer. So any layers who have their visibility turned off would not get merged. And Flatten Image, I'll show you that guy in a second. So for now, I'm going to go Merge Layers. That merges the two guys into one single layer. Now, what you need to know about this is that they're now locked together. I can't separate the white stripe from the statue anymore. They're fixed together. As for flattening the image itself, you saw that I had the command up underneath the layer palette menu. I could do that, or I could go up to the layer menu way up at the top and go all the way down to flatten image. There he is right there. That flattens the whole image down, and there's where we started with a background layer. So everything is completely flattened and uneditable. Now, when you're working on your images inside Photoshop, you would definitely want to keep a fully layered version, a fully editable version of your file so you can make any future changes. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the last time I actually flattened an image down inside Photoshop. Because for myself, what winds up happening is I wind up saving my .psd files, my Photoshop files, out as JPEGs or GIFs if I'm doing some web design, that sort of thing. And what will happen is if the image is saved in a format that doesn't support layers, like JPEG or GIF, then the image will get flattened automatically. So I hope that makes sense. So you may want to experiment with saving your image out in different formats. JPEG doesn't support layers, GIF doesn't support layers. .psd most certainly supports layers, as does TIFF and a few others. So again, you may want to experiment depending on the destination of your image. But the point here is that you want to make sure that you keep an original, fully editable image so that you can come back and edit it inside Photoshop.